Within this video, I'm going to tackle some points which are going very wrong into the YouTube game through the review of the script of one of my followers, Taha, who did amazing work, but we are going to review the script together. And welcome in this video.
Bordel, quand on rentre.
Hi guys, I'm maybe the worst content provider on YouTube of the world. Like I'm really not consistent at all for now. Today, I'm going to release a new concept of videos on which I'm going to review the trading bots and the script of one of the followers. And within this trading bot, that's the AI trading bot, I'm going to show you maybe like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reasons on why your AI trading bot is getting wrong. So I just start looking at it. And here is what we got. So the trading bot is composed by two files. One file which is going to bring the different function, like such as calculating the RSI, the different technical indicators, and giving a structure to the bot. And on the other side, a file that has been called main, which is going to focus mostly on the training and AI part. Okay, let's just take a quick look at the bot right now. Wow. Okay, first of all, it's a very good work. Overall, I love 2 points. The first one is the fact that we have a description regarding all the different functions. Like really, again, it's like a very good work. Like I love the fact that there is this type of description. On top of that, there was like different function for different tasks. And I can very quickly have a focus, for instance, on how you define the signal. So it's going to be very good for the review. After having a first sight of the code, now let's focus on how we are going to tackle the review of the code. First of all, just to let you know, I'm going to give a rating at the end of this video regarding the work produced by Taha and what is my feeling about it. But before to go and focus on the rating, you have to know, first of all, the 3 main type of mistake that you can have on your bot. The mistake number one are the critical mistake, which means like a mistake which is going to generate a bot to take the wrong decision. For instance, let's say you are going to push a buy on the order and instead of having a buy, you have a short. That's a critical mistake because a critical mistake is going to generate a misconception regarding the prediction. Other type of critical mistake, for instance, if instead of taking the column A in order to predict, you choose the column B, so your prediction is going to be completely randomized. That's what we call critical mistake. That's going to be first aspect that we're going to take a look. Other type of mistake is optimization mistake. For instance, if you are choosing this variable or these variables, let's say you can optimize it by, let's say, creating a third one that we can call optimization mistake. And the last one is good manner mistake. I'm going to do my best in order to spend more time to dig into finding what are the critical mistakes rather than to spending time in terms of good manner. So now once we cover the 2 points, how are we going to tackle this review? In order to tackle this review, we need first of all in a first point to understand how a trading bot is working. A trading bot is working in the following manner. You receive the data, and based on the data, you are going to build an algorithm, and this algorithm is going to tell you when to buy and to sell. And regarding the structure of this algorithm for AI trading bots, AI trading bot, as a difference with an algorithmic trading bot, need an extra step. You are still receiving the data, but when you receive the data, you are going to create and to divide your data into 2 parts. One is going to be your training data set, which means you are going to create a model based on this training data set. And after, you are going to ask the AI to modelize in order to get the best prediction and to test this model with what we call the test dataset. And this test dataset is going to give you a prediction. And if the prediction is right, that means your model is good enough. And you can get new market data within this model in order to get the prediction. So, why I'm sharing with you these structures for AI trading bots? Because in AI trading bots, one of the most important key are, first of all, the data that you're gonna bring within the model, because there is a lot of source of mistake that I can already anticipate, because I have been modelizing this type of data for the last 4 or 5 years. So I've seen so many models I can already anticipate some type of mistake that he should or he had probably done, even though the code is good, but it's probably like this type of mistake done. Other type of mistake is going to be in on how he's going to create his model, which means like defining what we call hyperparameters. I'm not gonna go too much in depth, but you got the idea. And the last point is also can come from when you got the new data within the model saved in order to get the prediction. It can be also a mistake here. So now I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a look quickly on the bot at my hometown, and I'm going to give you what is my review. The code. Here I find out one of the major issue within the code, which probably is going to cause the misprediction mentioned by the author. Here, if you go here, if you take a look at it, here we have what we call the filter data frame, which is going to be used within the AI model. Here's like where it's mentioned, and here's the CSV file, which is used by the AI model. So here in this data frame, as you can see here, we have all the data which are going to be taken into account in order to make the prediction. However, in this data, you have different data which is going to cause an issue. For instance, here you have Bollinger Band upper, middle, lower, which is nice data. However, you should never represent them in US dollar. Let me explain you why. And the first point to correct would be, okay, let's clear all. Let's have it in white. Might get better. So the first point to take into consideration is the concept of normalization. Okay, let me type it. Normalization, or also called standardization of the data. Why it's so important? Let's take the case right here. Here, within the case, we have 2 years of data. Okay, so roughly, how does the crypto market acted over the last 4 years of data? Essentially, the crypto market acted this way. So we had the market which was very hot. We got the big crash because of FTX and all the black swan we got onto the crypto market. And after, step by step, it went up. And let's say, imagine here, we were in January, for instance. So, if you get the Bollinger Band data in US dollar, or if you include, as you can see here within the model and the data sets, your any type of price in US dollar, how does the AI is going to modelize the model in order to predict the new data? Essentially, each time that the AI is going to see a price around, let's say, $50,000, here's like it was $65,000. So each time that the AI sees a price around $50,000, the AI is going to push you to short, because the AI is not very, very smart. So each time that the AI see a price around 65,000, that means the market is going to crash. What's here at T0, we have a situation which is completely different. So that means that each time that you get a value which is not normalized, the AI is going to be influenced by other factors. So the point number one to correct, if that's not clear enough, just let me know in the comment. I can dig into it, because normalization of variables in any type of AI or machine learning algorithm is very key. So that's something that you really have to take into consideration. So I'm going to add this number 1 correction to the review file, and here I'm going to add it in critical error is standardization of all the variable. Again, it's such important aspect for any type of AI bot that if you want me to go deeper on it, just let me know, because it's very crucial and something that I find a lot on YouTube. So it's one of the reasons why 99.999% of the bot are not working, is because the variables are not standardized, and I didn't dig that much why it's important in terms of techniques, but no USD variables as an action. So, other point that I can find out which is missing here is the concept of time signature, which is going to be super key for AI trading bot. It's not a critical error because that's not going to mislead the prediction. However, it's going to reduce a lot your prediction and your win rate. Let me explain you what is the concept of time signature. So here we got like the point number 1, which was standardization and normalization of the data. Other point is point number 2 is time signature within the data. Okay, so here we got our data set. So we got different information. And what is time signature? The time signature is the concept of creating a variable which is going to replicate the time. When I say replicating the time, that can depend of different granularity. Either you want the time in seconds, time in minutes, the time in hours, the time in days, the time in weeks, the time in years. When I tell you that, so the time in years would not have an impact because every year is different. But what I want to say when I say the concept of time signature is because without time signature, what does that mean? That means that, for instance, like a volume of $10 million on a Monday is equal of a volume of $10 million on a Saturday, which is in reality is not true. If you have $10 million within 15 minutes on a Saturday, that means something huge is happening. What if you have $10 million in terms of volume on a Monday? That doesn't mean necessarily that we got a huge move within the market. And essentially, that also means that, let's say, for instance, a RSI value, let's say for people who are experienced, RSI value of 30, which is a threshold on which it's a buying indicator for a lot of people. A RSI value of 30 on a Monday is going to be more critical than RSI value on Saturday, because on Saturday we have less volume, so we can be more sensitive to the market move, so it will not have the same value. But if you don't implement time signature for the algo, it will not make difference if we are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you want to increase your prediction, you need to give this information to the algo. And let's say also if you have a huge data set for your training data set, let's say 10-15 years, you can also bring which week of the year are we, in order to also give, for instance, if we are in the month of January, the market is not acting the same as the month of August when everyone is on holiday. Same for the month of December. So that's why it's important to bring the concept of time signature. And for instance, one action which can be implemented is, let's say, represents. So you can represent the Monday with the value 1 and the Sunday with the value 7. And if you represent it this way, each time that the AI and the algo is going to see value 1, it will understand indirectly that it's a different day than the day which is represented by 7. So regarding this point, if I go in Notion, I'm going to push it in better prediction, but it's kind of critical, but because that's very important. Add a time signature. That I spotted right now, very quick, I want to share it with you because that's a very interesting use case, is the concept of direction. For instance, here, if we go through the bots here on the ADX or on the RSI, Yeah, here on the RSI. Here on the RSI, what does that mean? When I can see a value of 36, either that means that we are correcting up or correcting down. And if you are not bringing any direction, what the bot is going to assume, here's like up, point number 3 is direction, up. Let's remove all that. Okay, here is direction. Yeah, here. So why bringing direction is crucial. So let's take the example of the value of the RSI, but you can take any type of value which is in percentage that's going to be the same. Let's say, imagine here we have the value of RSI which is equal to 30, okay? But let's say, imagine the RSI is moving this way, up, okay. And here you have the value of 30, okay? You are going to go below the value of 30, but if you are not bringing the direction, which means, and when I talk about direction, I talk about one is going to be crucial and the other one is going to be in order to increase the prediction. So when I say the direction, I'm talking about as well as the angle than the direction. For instance, if the RSI is going to go and to reach 30 through this angle, that doesn't have the same value than going from 20 to 30. However, for the AI, is going to consider the value of RSI of 30. So that means that the value of RSI doesn't mean anything anymore. So that means that this column doesn't have any value because a value of 30 where the market crashing or a value of 30 when the market is correcting up is not the same. So that's why like the third point to implement is the direction. So for the direction, I'm going to push it within two phase. I'm going to push it in critical error, bring direction, as well as on bring angle of the direction. Because when I'm talking about the angle of the direction, essentially I'm talking about taking the data, for instance, for the last 3 candles, and taking the data of the last 3 candles is going to get you the direction. For instance, imagine RSI on T minus 3 was at 50. That means we lost 20 points on the RSI in 3. Or on RSI minus 3, we were at 35. So on 35, that means like the market crash is going to be smooth. So you have higher chance to get up. Whilst if you are at 50, you have high chance to push a short, and the short is going to match the market. But the angle is going more to get better prediction rather than to get critical. However, bringing direction is critical because otherwise you are canceling your variable, and even worse, sometimes you can create noise and make your prediction is going to be totally wrong because a value of RSI doesn't have any more sense, because if the market go down or go up, it's still 30. So that's why it's important to bring direction. Okay, other point that I found out as well is the weight of the data. Essentially, the weight of the data is kind of indirectly correlated to the normalization and standard deviation. Let me explain you what is the weight of the data. Essentially, when I'm talking about the weight of the data, is the number of use cases that you got in your trading dataset. So here in this case, we got the market moving this way. So that means that when we reach a value of 30K on the Bitcoin, the algo is going to be lost. So in this case, you need to bring cases where the market have been long. That means that when you are going to train your dataset, always make sure that you have different case scenario. And when I took a look at the dataset which is used in order to predict the market, we can see that we have only one scenario, which was the one where the market crashed and correcting up. However, we never had the scenario of a bull market. That means that's also one of the reasons why, if we go back into the solution and our targets that we have to solve, is the reason why we have so many shorts, because most of the case in our dataset were market crashing. So if you want to get a better prediction, you have to make sure of having a right weight of the data. So let's say, imagine if within your dataset you have 80% of the data which are going to be a market crash. Indirectly, you are going to generate a bias into the prediction. So that means that's something key in order to have a good prediction. It's even crucial because that's going to give the hint to the market that by essence the game is biased to lose, whilst in real life it's not biased to lose. The market is just moving based on macro and microeconomical factor. So that's why like pushing attention to the weight of the data is key. Let me add it to the review. Here is going to be careful on the weight for the test data set. Okay, so that's the point number 3 corrected. Now how to get better prediction. I have another point right now that I found out as well. Okay, so now we got 4 different points that we already reviewed. Let's clean that. But I believe right now it's kind of all that I found it regarding the structure and how it's composed dataset. Now I'm going to dig a little bit more into the code and more into how are we training the data, which is the second part of, here was the first part. The first part, which is how we structured the data that we got. We can push a check on it. Now I'm going to check how are we modelizing the data, if I can see any mistake into it. First thing I got when I start taking a look on how the AI is built, it's not so critical, but it's a good way to increase prediction, is how does it split the data between training and test dataset. Here, as you can see, it shows a factor of 80, which means 80% of the data are going into the training dataset and 20% in the testing dataset. So, however, here's like split value. However, here it will be a good manner in order to get better prediction. I would not split it this way. Let's say 80% and 20%. Why? Essentially, in the rules of thumb, that's always say, okay, if you don't know how to split, use 80-20. However, if you got a dataset which is big enough, let's say imagine more than 20,000 with, let's say, a standard deviation of moving which is less than 1 or 2%, just remove 20 standard deviation for your mind, but like let's say as soon as you get more than 20,000 rows in your dataset, you can easily move to 95 and 5. Why? Because let's say in this case we have more than 20,000 rows in order to test our algorithm. However, the fact of taking away, let's say, 10 or 15,000 rows, it will also take away some cases which can be interesting for the AI to learn in order to get better in real life. So what I would recommend to do, I would recommend to split in this type of case through a coefficient factor of 95.5. So that would be the split value in this case. Okay, now let me continue into other points that I can find out which can be improved. So, and for the split value, I would add it on how to get better prediction. Split value to be moved from 80-20 to 95.5. Okay, let's push it into, not into text, but into heading 3. Here into up, heading 3, and here into heading 3. For now, I still don't find out anything in good manner because overall the code is good. It's good, like the structure is good. There is no good manner point to add, so so far so good. Okay, so and now to conclude this video, the last 2 points of improvement in order to make the bot even more sharp and even more precise regarding the win rate and the prediction. The first one would be to include alternative data such as gold price or energy price, which are directly correlated to the Bitcoin. It's going to give a hint, mostly if you go in a granular level. When there is like a big green candle on the gold price, usually the crypto market is following the same trend. In order to get this data, I'm going to release a video on how to get the data with EOD HD, and also if you want to know how to get alternative data, you have on my online course on Udemy like a full video on how to get alternative data easily. But I'm going to publish it on YouTube for free, so you can also be patient. Other point is to use PCA analysis in order to remove unnecessary variables. PCA analysis is a powerful algorithm in order to check which variables are duplicated. For instance, if you have RSI 14 and RSI 10, the PCA analysis will tell you that you have some duplicate, and there is a way in order. I cannot elaborate that much more, but if you're interested, I can do in a video. Just let me know in the comments. There is a way in order to remove unnecessary variable in order to have something as clean as possible, as efficient as possible. And these both points of improvement are going to be in the category on how to increase the prediction. Mostly using alternative data and PCAs are two of the most powerful tools which are not applied right here. Okay, go guys, and let's go for the rating. Okay, for the rating, I'm going to give to the script 4.5 star. And again, if you are interested for me to review your code and give you some tips on what you can add and what can be improved, just let me know. I will be very, very happy to do that. So don't feel shy. I can definitely do it, and I will be very, very happy to do so. So my rating is 4.5 star because the bot, which is realized something very technical, very high level. There is probably less than 0.1% of data scientists who can build such a tool. So if you are very interested, you can also contact him. I believe he will be happy to talk with you. So don't hesitate. And yeah, here's my rating. If you want to push a bot to be reviewed, I'm going to push a link to the Discord server. I'm going to be more active from now, and you can just push it there. See you guys. Okay guys, see you in the next video this week. I'm going to publish it on Sunday. I'm going to present you how to create a trading bot in less than 5 minutes.